Stop telling me what I can do, what I can say, what I can think, who my heroes are supposed to be. Just get the f*** off of me.
Bill Maher didn't hold back in his latest Club Random episode, where he challenged Drew Barrymore with some unfiltered truth. The sharp-tongued comedian cut straight through Barrymore's arguments, leaving no room for niceties. As expected, social media erupted, with critics rushing to express their outrage. But Maher? Unfazed. He delivered his signature brand of brutal honesty, raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic. If you've missed this episode, now's the time to catch up, because the heat is only getting hotter.
You're a very discerning man. When it comes to a lot of things, you are.
It's a charitable word for it, but I appreciate it. Yes, I think I am. I mean...
I've watched you for decades go out there and speak your truth.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anything that exists of the truth. It's your truth. And
there is also in life the truth. We may not always be able to discern it, but there is the truth.
So Barrymore trotted out one of the woke mob's greatest hits, Truth is Relative. You've heard it before, probably more times than you've stubbed your toe. The moment you confront a woke crusader with hard facts, they retreat to their comfort blanket. That's your truth, let me live mine. Sounds deep, but it's really just intellectual fast food, cheap, greasy, and pretending to be fulfilling. Here's the inconvenient reality check: there are facts, and there are opinions. Full stop. Facts don't clock out just because your feelings filed a complaint. Gravity doesn't care if your ego bruises along with your knee. Opinions? They're a mixed bag. Anchor them to facts, and they stand tall. Build them on vibes and fairy dust, and they collapse faster than a bad souffle. That's where Barrymore's logic fell flat. It wasn't bold or liberating, it was pure escapism. And Maher, unsurprisingly, wasn't in the mood to hand out hall passes.
But it's very hard to be the one on either side to ever proclaim you know what it is. That is a dangerous thing to do. We always need to hear, because we don't know. We're not God.
no,
Right.
no.
But it does exist, the truth. Not everything is just your truth. I mean, your truth has become sort of like code word for just whatever I feel like. Whatever I feel like believing. Well, that's not really the same thing as your truth. You feel this way.
Yeah.
Feeling is not enough for me.
Here's where things get downright tasty. Drew Barrymore was visibly rattled. You could almost hear the mental gears grinding like an engine on the verge of seizing. She thought she was offering a compliment, telling Maher he was speaking his truth. But Maher, sharp as ever, cut in mid-sentence. There's no your truth or my truth. There's just the truth. That's when Drew's composure crumbled. For a few agonizing seconds, she stammered, sputtered, frozen like a deer in headlights. Because when unflinching truth collides with the soft shell of woke dogma, it doesn't bruise, it obliterates. These feel-good slogans sound airtight in echo chambers, but the moment they're exposed to logic and backbone, the whole illusion folds like wet cardboard. At that point, Barrymore wasn't participating in a conversation, she was scrambling for footing. And in that moment, Maher didn't just win. He proved why truth doesn't argue with feelings, it steamrolls them.
No, but it is such a taboo subject, the truth.
It is. Oh, and it gets you hated.
Oh, as soon as I said it, I was like, the truth, that there is no truth. I'm like, that doesn't work. You can't say things like that.
Barrymore almost slipped that one past the radar, subtly suggesting that speaking the truth these days is somehow dangerous. Classic woke sleight of hand, repackage censorship as compassion. But Maher, fully alert and razor-sharp, caught it instantly and cut it down before it could take root. That's the gap between sharp thinkers and obedient nodders. We all remember the wreckage left by peak cancel culture, careers torched, reputations shredded, friendships lost, all for daring to color outside the mob-approved lines. Fear muzzled free speech, and conformity ruled the day. But here's the delicious twist: Trump blew up the establishment's rulebook, and independent media surged into power. Cancel culture? It's not the raging inferno it once was. It's a dying ember now, sputtering out while the rest of us speak louder, freer, and bolder than ever. And Maher? He just dropped a thunderous reminder that the tide has turned.
But it's just so refreshing. Like, you were doing this before it was so dangerous.
Still dangerous.
And it is just way too dangerous now.
Yeah.
But you're still doing it.
It's slightly less dangerous than it was 2 years ago, because we did have a vibe change And because the Democrats lost so badly in 2024.
Bill Maher hit pause to deliver a much-needed civics lesson, one Barrymore and the woke crowd desperately needed. Free speech isn't some hall pass granted by cultural gatekeepers. It's a foundational right, carved into the Constitution. The guarantee that every American can speak freely, even if it ruffles every feather in the coop. Maher cut through the noise with surgical precision. If speech crosses into actual criminal territory, that's what courts and laws are for. But short of that, words should flow raw, unfiltered, and unshackled. That's America's crown jewel. We don't silence people because their ideas sting. And we definitely don't deputize angry mobs to treat hurt feelings like felonies. His point landed with force. Free speech protects all speech, not just the sanitized, pre-approved version stamped by the woke elite. And that's exactly why it's worth defending, tooth and nail.
The blush is off the rose on left-wing censorship and, oh my God, you can't say that. Stop telling me what I can do, what I can say, what I can think, who my heroes are supposed to be. Just get the off of me.
Credit where it's due. I've got to tip my hat to Bill Maher. Love him or hate him, the man's got a spine of steel. He'll call out anyone, left, right, or politically adrift in no man's land. That kind of consistency is a unicorn in today's three-ring political circus. Now contrast that with the mainstream media, where the script is painfully predictable: hammer the right for every stubbed toe, but quietly sweep the left's train wrecks under the rug. It's outrage on demand, and people are tired of it. Maher doesn't follow that script. He'll roast Republicans when they go off the rails, but he's just as quick to drag Democrats into the spotlight when they start spewing nonsense. That's why, even with the woke mob frothing at the mouth, people keep tuning in. In a world drowning in spin, tribalism, and partisan fluff, Maher's willingness to torch hypocrisy, no matter where it hides, isn't just refreshing. It's essential.
That is a lot of just what viscerally is going on with me when I have issues with the left. Just get the off of me. First of all, I don't believe you. You're not better. You're a lot of posers. Not all of you, but just get the off of me.
Well, that's what I like is you call people out from all different areas, and I don't even know how to address parties anymore.
That right there is left-wing hypocrisy in its purest form. Behind closed doors, they let it fly, laughing, joking, tossing around the same unfiltered thoughts the rest of us do. But the moment someone dares to speak those truths out loud, cue the pearl-clutching pageant. Suddenly it's outrage theater, complete with mob chants and an attempted cancellation to erase the offender from existence. Because it's never really about what was said, it's about who gets to say it, when they can say it, and how it must be packaged. Step outside that tightly controlled script, and the mob comes for you, claws out. That's why cancel culture has always been a sham. It's not driven by morality, it's driven by control. And every time someone refuses to bow to that censorship, the mask slips further. The hypocrisy becomes harder to ignore, and nearly impossible to defend.
If you're ballsy enough to be brave enough to say your truths or speak to what you believe is the truth, what scares you and what do you care about?
Oh, what scares me is a little bit me. That, at any moment, you can say something that really in private conversation wouldn't upset anybody.
Yes.
But the snitches and bitches will be able to use it to attack and end you, which they did once on Politically Incorrect.
The Democrats managed to turn America into a nation tiptoeing on eggshells. For years, they trained people to second-guess every word, every joke, every post, living in fear that one slip-up could destroy a career or reputation. They weaponized paranoia, forcing everyday Americans to muzzle themselves, filtering every thought through the suffocating lens of political correctness. It's like walking blindfolded through a minefield. And let's be real, it was never about respect. It was always about control. The goal? Keep people timid, silenced, and obedient, while the left's self-appointed morality police dictated what could and couldn't be said. But here's the backlash: people are done whispering. Americans want their voices back, unfiltered, unchained, and unapologetic. No more waiting for the mob's permission to speak. That's why Bill Maher's clash with Drew Barrymore wasn't just another Hollywood spat, it was a wake-up call. The left's empire of censorship, double standards, and fear is cracking. Independent voices are rising. Cancel culture is wheezing. And the mob that once demanded obedience is losing its grip. Maher proved one thing loud and clear: truth still cuts through the noise like a hot knife through butter. The facade is collapsing, the hypocrisy is exposed, and free speech is staging its comeback tour. And that is something worth cheering for. If you got a kick out of today's video, smash that subscribe button, share it with your crew, and drop a comment below. Let's finish smothering the last sparks of woke culture, together. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.
I've been ended a few times, and I understand that it is real and it can happen.
Right. So, like I always say, whenever I leave the house, not even to just do the show, just leave the house, I'm having dinner at a restaurant, but one of those rooftop restaurants. Because is it really dangerous? Not very, but you could fall off the roof.
Right.
Like when you eat at a normal restaurant, there's no danger of you falling off the roof. When you eat at a rooftop restaurant, there's very little, but it is possible you could fall off the roof.